When you're between two minds on something, or maybe even three minds on something, could that mean that you have multiple personalities?
We're the Happy Headers. Stay tuned with us and we'll tell you all about it.
I have multiple choice going on in my head a lot of the time. And most of the time I just get fed up going through all of the options and I just go with one. And the hell with the consequences. Now maybe it's not the best strategy for thinking or for life. But could I have multiple personality disorder?
Well, I suppose one of the big traits of multiple personality disorder is a complete shift in identity. So for us, like a therapist, we look at the DSM, that's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for all these mental health disorders.
It's on my bedside table.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Essential reading every night.
Essential
I
reading.
need to put myself to sleep.
It's actually feckin' not valid, half of it, in my view.
Right,
because
okay.
it's weird.
That's another
Yeah,
discussion.
okay, I'm not allowed to say that
No.
on camera. But anyway,
Yeah.
it says that it's the presence of two or more distinct identities. So I remember watching a video of a lady years ago who had multiple personality disorders, and she got into a lift. She was just ordinary, woman or whatever in her 40s, and then she got into a lift, and the next thing she went like that. She got all giddy, like I do sometimes, Paul.
Right, all the time. Yeah.
And she literally switched completely. And I remember as well when I was learning about it on the EMDR course, Dr. Michael Patterson said you can really see the shift in personality in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Smeagol?
Yes.
Smeagol.
The ring
said,
affects
but we
them.
can't, or the ring is bad.
The ring makes them evil.
Oh, but we need the ring.
Yeah.
And it's that switch in personality. It's freaky.
But I suppose the thing that we need to emphasise here is that I work with ego states, you work with ego states, and sometimes what I would have somebody to do is, if I'm trying to bring out confidence in somebody else, say, when were you confident before? And they'll go back to a particular memory or experience, and then you anchor that state in the person, in their body, so they can access that state when they need it again in the future. And this can be done for any desired state. Yeah. And sometimes I'll get people to role model.
Yeah.
So kids do this naturally. Like when I was a kid, I'd pretend I'd be some movie star or some
Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you could do lots of things, and you can do that with adults modern day. Get them to say, well, who do you admire now, real or fictional character that has the traits that you want, and then you get them to imagine how to become that person.
Yeah.
I did this with a man many years ago who his role model was Sean Connery, James Bond. Wow. And he wanted to be confident. He wanted to be the one-liners with women and cool and stuff. And he became James Bond for a week.
No way.
He came back and he was sorted. He was fine.
Different man.
But the thing is that what we're talking about there is known to the person. They know that they are shifting into this persona for the purposes of getting that state of mind. Whereas with somebody with multiple personalities, they may not know that they have shifted. They might not even be aware of the other personalities.
The way it was described to me during the training as well was like that it's unlike schizophrenia where somebody goes off into a completely different brain. It's like another island off somewhere else and they're not aware of the change in their person. So that's schizophrenia, we say. And then multiple personality disorders, most people are aware of the change, but they're not in control of it. You're in control of your ego states, but not so much the multiple personality or the other identities.
Yeah.
Didn't Marilyn Monroe had it as well, Paul, didn't she? She was diagnosed with that.
Right.
She's one of the famous celebrities. But I wonder, she was really badly traumatised, wasn't she?
She was, and her proper name was Norma Jean, and a lot of actors, for various reasons, will change their name. They won't be themselves when they get into acting, and that allows them to become somebody else.
Yeah.
And that can be a valid strategy to help you to rise to the top in whatever profession that you do. But as long as you know what it is that you're doing, I think that again, that is the emphasis here. If you don't know that you have different facets to your personality or different sides to you, if you're unaware, that can be an indicator, I would think. Would that be true?
I don't know. I possibly,
Yeah, because I've known people, not people who've been clients, but just observing people in my circle, and sometimes they'll just switch, and you they get into a particular, like a mood, but it's almost as if you can just see that they become somebody else.
Yeah, their eyes change. It's really strange when it happens in the room with you, actually, in a session. Any therapist listening there today, just let us know in the comments down below if you've ever experienced this with a client, that switch in personality. And the funny thing about multiple personality disorders is they're all aware of each other, but in different contexts.
Right.
Like if they switch to a child persona, they're aware of the adult that's controlling and bad and whatever else. But like there was a film out years ago called Split, and it was, oh my god, it was so freaky. I couldn't even watch it. The trailer was so scary. But your man is obviously crazy, like really, like Jesus, he does horrifying things to people, and he kidnapped these two girls or something like that. So anyway, the girl decides to trick him into, when he's in child, into setting them free and letting them out, and I think that's how they get away or something.
All right, so they access his child part of his person.
Yeah, of his identity, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh my god, I'd be mad. I wouldn't like to be caught in that situation.
Yeah. Multiple personality disorder, is it curable? Or is it just treatable? Do you manage it?
Yeah, I think it's a manageable illness. It's treatable. Definitely, it's for psychiatry. And often the risks, I suppose, the risk factors that cause it, a lot of people say, well, what causes that?
Yeah.
And it would be, long-term abuse in your childhood. So ongoing, where you have to
So the mind fractures. It splits up.
It
creates a persona to deal with.
Yeah, it's got to create other persons to deal with the trauma.
And just if you explain to our viewers what's the difference between that and borderline personality disorder? A lot of people might be diagnosed with that.
Borderline personality disorder is slightly different in that, it's not about having a different personality, but it's more dissociative. Like I know nowadays as well, we do call multiple personality disorder dissociative identity disorder, but you don't exactly have a problem with your identity, but it's more motivation to do things. You're more in child, in that one completely.
Right.
It's difficulty, carrying out everyday tasks, the general feeling of not being safe. When we're working with somebody with borderline personality disorder, it's very hard to kind of get them to do homework and things like that. They're just not able for it.
Yeah.
So there's a complete leaving of the responsibility piece in their brain.
Okay, I can be like that sometimes, I think. Not wanting to do it. That's probably procrastination, but we've covered that on a previous video. We are the Happy Headers. Let us know what you think of this, if you've known somebody in your life who you think might have multiple personality disorder or even dissociative disorder. We'll talk to you soon. Disorder.